Okay. Okay, y'all. So I'm hoping y'all can see me. I'm hoping y'all can hear me good. And hopefully this ain't too tacky either, because obviously I am sitting in my car. But I was in the mood to record, and I really want to get this video done, because I've been sitting on it long enough as is. So, we got to do this right here, right now. So we doing this right here, right now. But anyways, it is currently May 2025, May 21st to be exact, right? And it was definitely my goal, you know what I'm saying, to have my channel up and, created and at the top of the year, you know what I'm saying, because of the type of channel that it is, but regardless of all that, you know what I mean, like, we here now, we getting it started now, you know what I'm saying, so it's all to the good, like we here, so let me go ahead and just get into this basically. But no, I basically, wanted to come on here and give a little introduction to my channel and to basically share a little bit of my story on how God has been calling me to basically be a coach now, for the past 4 years, you know what I'm saying? And when I say coach, I'm talking about a wellness coach, but not sure if it's a little bit of life coaching mixed up in there somewhere. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But maybe it is. Maybe it is both. But for right now, we just gonna say I am the transformation coach, basically. Like, because we getting ready to transform up in here. You know what I'm saying? We getting ready to transform a lot of things. But I like I said, I don't know if it's both. But anyways, I what I don't do know though is, that God has given me a dream and a vision, and part of that vision is for me to get on YouTube and the other social platforms to basically create content, that will hopefully motivate and inspire people to, number one, become the best versions of themselves, and number two, to, truly chase after the life that they desire by chasing after their dreams despite um, any life challenges, and I basically plan on doing that by sharing my own transformational journey on here with y'all, so with that being said, let me go ahead and get into it. And I'm gonna do my best, you know what I'm saying, to like summarize this, because if I go into every little detail, you know what I mean, we'll be here all day, and I don't have all day, and I'm sure y'all ain't got all day either. But yeah. But how did I get here, right? Well, I can definitely, assure you that I definitely did not decide, last night that I wanted to create content and, popped out with this video today. No. Um, it definitely did not go down like that. You know what I'm saying? In fact, it definitely took a lot of inner work for me to get to the point to where we are today, which is me recording my first video, right? Um, the journey, like, this has been a 4-year journey for me so far. The whole idea around creating content and, coaching was first sparked in 2021, so 4 years ago, right? And ever since the dream and the vision, was sparked, it's honestly been tugging at my heart ever since, you know what I'm saying? But despite it tugging at my heart, you know what I mean, I kind of pushed it to the back burner, you know what I'm saying, for many reasons, but the main reason being, you know what I'm saying, fear. And I'll elaborate in just a moment on the type of fear that I'm talking about. But I just want to say, despite the fear that I'm talking about, I definitely made it up in my mind, about a year ago, that despite that fear, you know what I'm saying, that I was going to do what it is that I feel like God is calling me to do, right? Because ain't no way I'm about to just sit up here and be disobedient, right? It just ain't no way. But anyways, I would say about a year ago, you know, like when I first realized and understood, you know, that God was calling me basically to be a coach. I remember, you know, thinking to myself, like, ain't no way God calling you to be no coach, right? Like, it just ain't no way, right? I would say, like, coaching definitely ain't for you. Like, I would think all these things of why coaching wasn't for me, right? So I kind of pushed it to the back burner, you know what I'm saying? Went on about my business, kept on with the usual, you know, how the usual routine. And I guess you can say the reason why, you know what I'm saying, I did that, and pretty much why I doubted myself, and pretty much why I doubted, you know, God's calling for me is just because I struggle bad with social anxiety, to be real. Like, I'm talking bad. I mean, social anxiety has had a profound impact on my I'm gonna say my adult life, because like going through school and growing up, it definitely was not like this at all. You know what I mean? But that's another story for another day. But social anxiety, like I said, like, it's something that, first of all, it affects people differently, you know what I mean? So the way that it affects me may not affect the next, you know what I mean? But it's something that affects people differently, you know. And I'm sure I'll do another video on social anxiety, because to be real, the topic is just near and dear to me, you know what I'm saying? But for the purposes of this video, I would just say that my social anxiety has affected everything from my career to me honestly being able to build relationships with people, right? And I will say that is mostly because, you know, my anxiety, like, it affects my thoughts daily, right? It affects my confidence daily, you know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like, for me, like a feeling of like, if not, you know what I'm saying, all the time, most of the time, you know what I'm saying, I will say that I just feel like people was judging me, flat out. Like, that's just what it is for me. Like, I just feel like people was judging me. And because I feel like that, you know, it causes me to kind of like isolate myself, you know what I'm saying? And I know I need to stop doing that, you know, because we get one life, and when I tell you I be in like isolation mode, I be just to myself, you know. Not because I necessarily want to be. I am an introvert as well, but I don't always want to be by myself. But my social anxiety, you know what I'm saying, like, kind of keeps me isolated. But anyways, um because, you know, I'm like this, it also like makes things, it just makes social interactions, you know, and meet new people. And honestly, like, to be real with you, like, it just make sometimes it just make having like a conversation in general just kind of like a bit, it just be a bit overwhelming for me, you know what I'm saying, to say the least. I be struggling bad with it. And when I think about a career, you know what I'm saying, in coaching, right, it's like, obviously, you know, coaching is all of these things, you know. It's gonna be social interactions, you're going to be meet new people, you know what I mean? Like, coaching is all of these things, you know. Basically, it's all of these things. So of course, it's natural for me to sit here and feel like, you know, coaching isn't for me, you know what I mean, because I struggle so badly. And I know the levels of intensity, you know what I'm saying, like social interactions like bring me some most of the time, you know what I mean. I'm not like that all the time. It just really depends on, you know, like who it is, but most of the time it's like that. It just depends on who I'm around is what I'm saying. But yeah, most of the time it is like that. But anyways, no matter, you know, how much I told myself, you know, that coaching wasn't for me and that content creation wasn't for me, you know what I mean, I feel like God made it clear to me, makes it clear to me, I should say, and affirms daily in some kind of way, you know, that it is for me, and why not for me, honestly, you know. And I would just say, you know, honestly, deep down, deep down, it's like, I know it's for me as well, you know what I mean? But, and honestly, I really wouldn't even be questioning if it is for me if it weren't for my social anxiety, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, like I said, I just know it's for me because naturally I'm a motivator, you know what I mean? And then on top of that, you know what I mean, like I've already been coaching people anyways, you know what I mean, like the people around me, so I'm already doing it. But it's to the point now where I know that, you know, God is calling me higher, right? Like I know that God is calling me to coach and inspire the world, you know, on these platforms. And even though, you know what I'm saying, like embarking on a career like this takes me way out of my comfort zone, you know what I'm saying, um I just gotta trust where God is leading me on this, you know what I mean, and do what it is that God has told me to do. What God has told me to do, basically. Dang, if I can get it out. But yeah, um because, you know, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, we know that God obviously knows best, and we also know that ain't nobody growing where they comfortable, you know what I'm saying, and that's just simply a fact. So, you know, we gotta step out the comfort zone and, you know, honestly face our fears on this one, and just trust God. And that's definitely what, you know, I intend on doing, like on this here journey, you know what I mean, um because yeah, I just got to. So there it is. That's the life challenge. When I say, you know, working through life challenges though, and chasing after dreams, you know, for me, you know, that challenge that I'm really trying to work through is, you know, my social anxiety, right? You know what I mean? We all have things that we go through. Some of us deal with things, you know what I'm saying, that just make everyday living, you know, kind of a challenge, you know. Some may be more serious. I don't want to say more serious because, you know what, I ain't really trying to like downplay nothing that nobody go through, you know what I mean, but you know, we all basically go through something, you know what I'm saying. And but at the end of the day, you know, you just kind of gotta like, whatever it is you want, if it's fear keep holding you back, you know what I'm saying, you just gotta face that head on, honestly, you know what I mean. And yeah, you just gotta face that head on, because the thing is, it's like for me, you know, like I know social anxiety has already, you know, robbed me of like so much already, right? You know, and honestly, it's truly what has kept me, you know, sleeping on myself for so long, right? You know, but I'm just to the point now though, you know, I just cannot and I will not allow, you know, my challenges with social anxiety to control me no more, you know what I'm saying. I'm just not. And obviously, you know, I didn't always have that mindset around it either, because, you know, social anxiety has controlled me, you know what I'm saying, for so long, and it definitely still creep up on a daily basis, you know what I mean. But um at the end of the day, though, you know, like I said, it's just not going to control me and keep me, you know what I'm saying, like isolated in just the way that I've been living. You know what I'm saying? It's just not about to do that no more. And to get to where I am now with it, man, like it's just, I can honestly just say that it took a lot of inner work, you know what I mean, to, you know, get that mindset around it, you know. Um, and honestly, it took a lot of prayer as well, you know what I'm saying, to get me to the point to where I am today, because, yeah, we definitely, you know, um, lost some faith along the way, you know what I mean, but I truly owe where I am today, you know, to that renewed faith that I have in God, you know, because without God, like, we definitely wouldn't be doing what we doing right now, like, but like I said, that's a story for another day. But anyway, if it's one thing that, you know, life and, you know, having social anxiety has taught me, it's that, you know, when people say that you really can't control the things that happen to you, but you can control, you know, how you respond to it. I mean, I don't know if y'all heard that, but I've read that and heard that many a times. But, you know, I can honestly say that that's proven to be true, you know what I'm saying, like with my life experiences, you know, and especially with this. And to be real, like, once I kind of like grasp, you know what I'm saying, like that saying, that's really kind of how I like started us, like a, that's really kind of like the mindset, I should say, you know, that I had around like my anxiety situation, right? Like having social anxiety, you know, like, because I spent so many time, like so many days, like just sitting here thinking about really how social anxiety was honestly ruining my life, you know what I mean? And instead of just like focusing on how it was ruining my life, you know, I really started to focus on how it really truly has like brought me to my purpose, you know what I mean? Like, um it was purpose, you know, in the pain and stuff that in the pain that I felt, you know, basically for so long, you know what I mean? Like, it was purpose in that pain. And at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, like, I cannot control the fact that I have social anxiety, but I can definitely, you know, control the fact that I can basically control my mindset around it, and, you know, how I choose to manage it, you know what I mean? And yeah, so I guess, you know, really what I'm really trying to say that, you know, say in that is that in everything, your mindset is everything, you know what I mean? And just simply reframing your mindset can definitely help a lot, because it's definitely what has helped me get to this point where I am right now, you know what I'm saying? But now that I've shared that, and, you know what I'm saying, gotten that out, let's talk about fitness, because like I said, I'm aspiring to be a wellness coach here, and, you know, we is trying to promote healthy habits and healthy routines on this here channel. So let's talk about fitness. You know, fitness is definitely one of those things, you know, that some people love and prioritize, you know what I'm saying? And then you got other people who just, well, they do the opposite, you know, they don't love it, and they definitely ain't prioritizing it, you know, at all. Or if they is prioritizing it, maybe they not prioritizing it the way that they should, right? And you know, I definitely been on both ends of the spectrum, like, when it comes to that, you know, because if I'm being real, like, me and fitness, you know, most of my adult years have been in a toxic relationship, you know what I'm saying? Like, one minute we on, the next minute we off, you know, it's just been toxic, you know. But when I think about fitness, you know, I really think about, really, I used to think, honestly, that fitness was a waste of time. You know what I'm saying? Because I would be feeling like I'm doing all this stuff. I feel like I'm at the gym. I feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing right, but I ain't seeing these results. So I feel like it's a waste of time. But the truth of the matter is, you know, y'all know I wasn't doing everything that I was supposed to do. Because we already know that going to the gym just ain't gonna cut it. You know what I'm saying? We gotta make sure it's right in the kitchen. And I know I don't have one too many cheat days. I know we weren't counting calories. We weren't doing none of that. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, I wasn't doing what I was supposed to do. But anyways, when I went on my most recent fitness journey, which was in 2021, it's like I was locked in, you know, like my approach to it was totally different, you know. At the time, I just had a lot going on at the time, to be real with you, and I was looking for positive ways, you know, to cope. So I remember, you know, I started this fitness journey, and when I locked in, it's like, I don't know, like I was seeing like results, like physically. So, you know, I'm feeling good, I'm feeling great, so I'm really locked in, right? And obviously, you know, I'm noticing what it's doing to the physical health, but not only that, I start, you know, to notice what it's doing for my mental health as well, you know what I mean? And when I mean like with my mental health, like it's like even though I had all that stuff going on in my life at the time, you know, what was feeling like so much, but it was a lot. But anyway, you know, life is gonna life. But anyways, you know, I was still like, I was vibing at like a whole nother level. Like I was vibing on another level, like, to say the least. Yeah, energy was. But anyway, we obviously, you know that when it comes to exercise and fitness, you know, we obviously know that the benefits to exercise and fitness is, you know, it's endless, right? And yeah, that's important and all, and we definitely not gonna downplay that, because we already know having a healthy mind and having a healthy body, you know, is truly, truly important. But I don't want to talk about that right now, you know. I want to talk about how fitness builds discipline, right? Discipline is something that's crucial in like every aspect of our life, you know. And discipline is really what helps you achieve your goals. I will hope, if you got some goals, I will hope you have some goals though. But it's discipline is, you know, what helps us achieve these goals. Discipline is, you know, I mean, discipline, you know, is eventually what helps you build, I should say, strong habits, you know what I'm saying, that basically is essential in every aspect of our lives. Basically, you know, we need to be disciplined, is what I'm saying. And when you think about it, you know, I know for real, like, a lot of people don't have discipline, you know what I'm saying, like, including me, you know what I mean? Like, I know I be motivated like a mug. I be motivated to start my fitness journey. I be motivated to start my businesses, you know what I'm saying? But if I'm keeping it real, motivation ain't enough, which we know, you know what I mean? I'm not disciplined. I need to get disciplined about everything, you know what I mean? And I feel like fitness, you know, is the best way to build the type of discipline, you know what I mean, that I'm talking about, you know what I mean? Because through fitness, you know, what does fitness do? Like, fitness, it teaches commitment, you know, it teaches self-control, and it also involves creating routines, you know, things like that. All these things, you know, that can be helpful in other aspects of our lives, you know what I mean? So you know, fitness is I feel like the best way, you know, to create the discipline that we need, you know. So with that being said, I just want to well, with that being said, let me first introduce myself now, because I realized that I hadn't do that. Well, I didn't realize, I kind of did that intentionally, because I didn't want to do it in the beginning, because if they ain't make it to this point, they don't need to know my name, right? No, I'm just playing. But my name is Shanice, aka Nisi2Fit, right? That's what I'm going by on here. So when I get my Instagram and my TikTok set up, you know what I'm saying, look for me there. But anyway, I'll make sure to attach all that so that y'all can keep up with the journey, on the journey. But anyways, if you made it to this point, like I said, welcome to my channel, right? I am getting ready to go on a transformational journey in every aspect of my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's to the point I'm getting ready to elevate in every way. And when I say every way, I'm talking about every way. You know what I mean? And the purpose of this channel is to motivate and inspire, right? So, like I said, I know that this is the year that I stopped sleeping on me. And if this is the year that you stop sleeping on you as well, you know what I'm saying, then I feel like this is really where you need to be. Because if I can be, you know what I'm saying, any type of inspiration or motivation to you, you know what I'm saying, to really work every day, you know what I'm saying, and put in the work to become your best self, you know what I'm saying, and go after the life that you desire, you know what I'm saying, then that is really truly my goal here, you know what I'm saying, is to motivate you to step into who it is that God has called you to be, you know what I mean. And I know that a lot of the times, you know, like when we follow people online, you know, influencers or content creators, whatever, you know, we kind of see, I guess, the finished product, or like, I don't know, a damn near perfect, you know what I'm saying, product, you know what I'm saying. Like, I know when I follow these fitness influencers, it's like, you know, they got it right, they got it tight, you know what I mean. But at the end of the day, who knows how long they've been on that journey, you know what I'm saying. Everything is a journey, you know what I mean. Like, it takes time. So I want, you know, people to come on the ride with me. I want people to see like everything, you know what I mean, because when I get to where I know I'm going, you know what I'm saying, I want people to see, you know what I'm saying, like me get it from the mud, basically, you know what I'm saying, starting from where I am now, you know what I mean. Because sometimes I feel like, you know, it's easy for us to pop out, you know what I mean, like when we got it all together, you know, and stuff like that. But no, I'm popping out now. Like, I'm going on a transformational journey, like I said. So if I can be of any motivation or inspiration to you, this is where you need to be. If you are one of these people who already got it together, you know what I'm saying, and you just happen to stumble across my video, and you just want to be here to encourage me, this is still where you need to be, you know, because we definitely welcome encouragement as well, you know what I mean. I definitely don't know everything, you know what I'm saying, so I'm open to whatever. But I know that I'm getting ready to step into who it is that God has called me to be. And yeah, that's that. So before I get up out of here, I just want to, you know, say, if you took nothing else from my video, you know what I mean, I just want you to know, like, if it's something that you really want to do, and it's maybe something that's like keeping you from it, and it's like you really want to do it, it's like, do whatever inner work you need to do to get you to the point, you know, where you're able to start, you know what I'm saying, like chasing whatever it is that you trying to chase, you know what I'm saying. Because for me, I knew that I wanted to do this back in 2021, you know what I mean, but I definitely was not ready, You know what I'm saying? To even begin to even think about doing something like this. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's okay. Like, you know, I'm just saying, like, give yourself some grace, give yourself some time. You know, I know sometimes, you know, it's easy for people to be like, well, if you want to do something, just do it. But I know ain't stuff ain't always just that simple. You know what I'm saying? But only you know what kind of inner work, you know what I'm saying, you need to do to get you to the point where you need to be at. The point where you need to be at. You know what I mean? To my people with social anxiety, oh my God, like, I know a lot of people don't understand it and they don't get it, you know what I mean? Like, but I truly get it, you know, and I know that having social anxiety, you know, keeps a lot of us from, keeps a lot of people, I should say, you know, from going after the life that they truly desire, you know what I mean? But I'm, I just, look, I get it, but it just ain't finna control me no more. And like I said, that's just that. So, yeah, I don't really have nothing else to say other than, like, we gonna get it. We gonna take it one day at a time. You know what I'm saying? But we definitely is gonna elevate in every way. But I'm about to go ahead and get up out of here. So y'all be good, y'all be easy, and y'all be blessed. And I will see you in the next video.